Good morning, everyone. Today we are introducing you all to Wendy. Wendy is a Christian by birth, born and brought up in USA. Today she is a devout Hindu and a certified yoga teacher. We will speak to her to know about her journey. Good morning, Wendy. Thank you for taking out time to speak to us, Wendy. Please tell us about your early life and upbringing.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's nice to meet you. So I was born here in the U.S. in Oregon, and I have what you would call a typical American family. My parents are married now nearly 50 years. So I've had a wonderful childhood. When I was 4, my parents moved from Oregon to Texas. And the reason that they did that was because I came upon some health issues when I was a baby. And my parents didn't know how to help me. I was constantly sick. And a bit of an emergency came, and my parents were fearful for my life. The doctor said that I became very ill one time. I was in the hospital. I was over 3 years old, nearly 4. And so I was having such serious health emergency that the doctors didn't think I would make it through the night. And so my parents were very fearful and very upset. They didn't want to lose me. And my father, he said that it was a life-changing moment for him. He said that he remembers going to the bathroom, getting down on his knees and praying to God if he would spare my life, that he would change his own life and he would start living his life for the Lord. And that if I could live, that he would dedicate his life to living his life for the Lord. And I made it through the night. And so my father, he stands by his word. And he realized that if he was going to make that kind of a change, that he wasn't going to be able to make that where he was. So he needed to bring his family to a new place and a new start. So he moved our family to Texas, and my parents had their new start here with my sister and I. So when we moved here to Texas, I was immediately, my parents got involved in the Baptist church. And so I was raised in a very strict Baptist upbringing, a very strict Christian upbringing. And that meant, going to church 2 to 3 times a week. And I also went to the private school in the church itself. So I went to private education through the church. And I was a very sheltered child, very protected. My parents were very, very, very devout Christians, and they became very active in the church. And we weren't even allowed to listen to rock and roll music. I mean, it was like an extremely, very strict upbringing. Yeah. So, long story short, that was how I was raised, and how I graduated high school also through a private education. I did go to public school for a very few years of my education, but 90% of my education was through the private Christian upbringing.
So Wendy, when did you first come to know about Sanatandham?
Yes, so I first heard of Sanatana Hindu Dharma. It's been many, many years ago, actually, but when I became closely connected was 7 years ago. Okay. I traveled to Varanasi to meet my guru for the first time 7 years ago, 2015.
2015, okay. Okay. So, how did your family, relatives, and close friends, take this when they noticed your inclination towards, something which was not very usual in your surrounding?
Yes.
And how did you respond to, their observations?
Yes. So that question allows me the opportunity to share why I went to India. I was suffering from very severe health issues, and I had been diagnosed with lupus and fibromyalgia, and I had had major brain and spinal reconstructive surgery, and I had major lung surgery, and I had many other day surgeries from chronic pain issues and a lot of serious illnesses that were happening, and I became bedridden for 15 years, nearly completely bedridden, and I was taking 15 medications a day to get through life. However, that's what the doctors thought would help me. And I was not getting any benefit, any relief at all from that lifestyle, those medications, and anything that was going on. Every year, things just continued to get more and more compacted, worse and worse, and I was not a happy person on the inside because my body was so physically sick. And I was the type of person where I was raised in the church, and I prayed all the time to be healed, to get well, and it just was not happening. So my mother-in-law, she had heard of a guru, and I'm going to introduce my guru. This is my guru, Sanatandham Paramashivam, and he's who I went to go meet the first time in Varanasi in 2015. And he was very well known to be able to give healing to people that were suffering from cancer and all kinds of very serious illnesses, incurable illnesses. So I wanted to meet him. My mother-in-law said, I know of a guru who is known for healing. And I thought, oh God, this is my answer. I have an answer finally. I have a way. So I decided to go to India and meet him. And when I told my parents I was going to India for healing, they were just like, what? Oh my God, are you, have you lost your mind? Are you going crazy? I could really get into some detail, but they thought that I was just really going to become, very corrupted. They were very afraid for my spirituality. They were afraid for my soul. They thought that I was going to just really walk off the deep end if I went down this road. And I told them that I have been praying for an answer, and this was how I felt I got my answer, was to go and meet him. And so I went and I did, and I met him. And I stayed that first month in Varanasi, and I started learning about yoga. That was what I was attracted to, because I needed healing in my physical body. And so I wanted to learn yoga and see if I could get well through my guru's teachings and through the yoga of Hinduism. And so that was my main thing. It was kind of an okay thing, accepted thing for my family to think I was only going to India to learn about yoga. They thought that if I went for yoga, that it would be okay. They thought I might not go to hell. I'm sorry, but that's the honest truth.
Yeah.
People really just don't understand. But anyway, I went and I started learning about Hinduism there.
I see. Yeah, that's so basically you were looking for healing.
Yes.
And that healing took you on that path to yoga, and yoga exposed you to Hinduism and Sanatandham.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also wanted to know how the people around you, when in whichever manner they responded to your this inclination towards yoga and Sanatandham, how could you sort of deal with it? How, like, what did you do? Whether you did anything, whether you didn't do anything, and how could you actually live in equilibrium with them? Yeah.
Um, when you get to a point in life and you really feel like you have no other way to do something, when you get like it's all or nothing, like you're gonna breathe or you're not, when it becomes a very serious desire, when the seeking is so strong, anything else that comes, you're able to just squash it. It's all about your intensity for what your intention is, what you want to manifest. And I was absolutely at my point of breaking with the lifestyle that I was in. And I knew that if I didn't do something to change that I might not be there for the next year. I was in that bad of situation health-wise. And of course also what that does to you on the inside, it's very difficult. So when people they saw when I came back from India that I had had a change, and a lot of people did not support, they were not supportive of my decision to follow Sanatandham Hindu Dharma. They thought that I had completely turned my back on God, and they did not know what to think. So for them, it was easier for them just to turn around and walk away. And that's what most people in my life did. So for me, I changed everything, including 90% of my friends. I have a very small amount of friends that I had before. Now, there's only a very few of them that I still have relations with. Basically, I changed everything, including the people that I surrounded myself with.
Yeah. So, Wendy, what is your message for Hindus in India? Do you want to do anything for them, or do you want them to do anything for Hindus in USA?
I would say that the message for Hindus in India and the message for Hindus in the USA is one and the same, actually. I wouldn't say it would be a different message. I would feel that I have had a unique opportunity as a US citizen to be around Western people and Eastern people. And I have learned that just because you are Indian does not mean that you're a practicing Hindu. And there are many people, whether they are in India or in the US, that are practicing Hindus. And I'm grateful for them keeping the Enlightenment civilization alive. People that are in India that are practicing Hindus have the most amazing culture to share with the rest of the world. And I feel that they a lot of times are maybe not allowing their full culture to be shown in their daily life because they might be embarrassed by it, or they are not being authentic in the practice themselves, so they don't know how to embrace that lifestyle. And as a person that is living the lifestyle of Sanatandham Hindu Dharma, I have been blessed to become a ordained yoga acharya, and I am living the lifestyle of Hinduism when it comes to waking up daily and doing yoga every day. I do Nityananda yoga every day, and then after yoga I have whole yogic cleansing techniques, inner cleansing techniques that I do. Then I have my Guru and Shiva puja every day, And then I have satsangs with my guru, and that, starting my day every day in that authentic lifestyle, allows you to continue your entire day in a much more aware and conscious state. So it's no matter if you're in the US or you're in India, just embrace the actual Hinduism and get involved in it and get intense with it and get authentic and start living the most beautiful culture in the world ever in history, in my book.
Thank you. You started your observation with the sentence that it doesn't matter if you are in India, it doesn't mean that you are a Hindu.
Yes.
So, in what way, the people who are actually not Hindu, the way you look at Hindu, and they think in India and hence they are Hindus, in what way they will understand your message, that your message is directed towards them? So how do they identify that while for the nomenclature purpose they are Hindus, but they are actually not living the Hindu way?
Yes. I would have to go back to the foundation of what I spoke about. It doesn't matter if you are in India, that does not make you a practicing Hindu. Practicing Hindu is somebody who is working on living a conscious, enlightened lifestyle. And that takes dedication. That takes intense dedication. I mean, we see the sannyasis that are, the only ones basically upholding and continuing to teach the authentic ways of Sanatandham Hindu Dharma. It is not,
Please.
Excuse me, but I just get a chuckle when I think about how people are missing out when they are living in the most amazing land that is so rich with the most amazing culture, and they are ashamed of it, embarrassed of it, and they're definitely not practicing it. And it's such a sadness to see that, because the future of humanity depends on Hinduism.
So thank you, Wendy,
Thank
for getting us insight into your personal experiences.
Yes.
It was indeed a very pleasant conversation, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time once
Thank
again.
you so much.